Hi everyone, my name is Adam, and you might know me from the band that I'm in, which is called AJR, and even if you don't, that's totally fine. We have a few songs you might recognize. One is World's Smallest Violin, The Good Part, Bang, but we're not here to talk about music today. The first thing I want to say is thank you. Just by being here, you are already doing more than pretty much everybody who is advocating for climate. You, just by being out here and taking a stand and focusing on advocacy and lobbying and doing the work, that is what we need more of. We need more people just like you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my climate journey and my climate story and how I came to be sitting here today talking to you all. But I really want you to think about that even just by showing up, you have gone so far above and beyond. So thank you for all that you have done and all that you are continuing to do and are already committing to do. So thank you for all of that. So as I said when I first started, I'm a musician. That's my night job. At night, I play music. We just finished a 50-city tour across the United States. We also play all over the world. And pretty much everywhere I've been, I've encountered the effects of climate change in really, really impactful ways, both for myself and my other band members and for our fans. This really was resonant with me when in 2019 we drove north from Los Angeles into San Francisco, and a few minutes before entering the city, the tour bus driver turned off all of the air on the tour bus because the smoke from the forest fires were unbearable. It was so insane that we needed to turn off the air systems because we didn't want the smoke coming onto the tour bus. When we pulled up to the venue, there was already a line of fans outside, and we had to wear gas masks to go from the bus into the venue. We immediately decided to open the doors to let fans in early. We didn't want them waiting outside in the smoke. And that was really my first kind of taste of what climate change is. A couple of years later, we were in Athens, Greece on tour. And when we pulled into the city, we were coming from the airport, when we pulled into the city itself and went into our hotel rooms, everything looked normal outside. And about 5 minutes later, I looked out the window and the entire city had flooded. There was a flash flood. Things were floating down the street. It was absolutely ridiculous. A lot of the hotel rooms that our crew were staying in were flooded. Again, all impacts of climate change. We could barely get to the venue, and we even performed through the rainstorm to thousands of people who were experiencing this firsthand. And while I spend a lot of time on the road going from place to place and experiencing these impacts of climate change, I was there in Athens for one day. I ended up leaving the next day to go to the next city, and the fans and the citizens of Greece were the ones who had to stay and clean up and make their city back to normal and more resilient for the next time this happens. As you know, these are not uncommon occurrences. These happen around the world every day, and we're seeing the impacts of climate change touch everything. And this is one of the most important things that I've come across in the last handful of years that I've been working in climate. Even from doing my PhD in sustainable development and human rights law, I looked at large-scale energy projects, I looked at how people were impacted by climate, but really, the important narrative as you're doing the kind of advocacy that you're doing is that climate touches us in all aspects of our lives pretty much every single day. The Inflation Reduction Act, which is the largest investment in climate in history, the entire world, has done so much on all of these fronts. But what we really need is you. You all are around the country doing incredible work fighting for climate solutions. So, I'll leave you with this. When you make a decision about what you're eating for dinner, the kind of plastic you're using to wrap up the food, how you're getting from place to place, all of that is relevant to climate. But what you all are doing is so much more than individual action. Individual action is fine, but what we really need is individual leadership, because individual leaders have the power to inspire 5, 10, thousands more people to take the kind of action that we need to see on climate. I know that I'm preaching to the choir because you all are leaders in the climate movement. But I just wanted to say a last time, even though I'm repeating myself, thank you for all the time and energy you're putting in to make climate a priority, because really, climate is everything. And without it, we wouldn't be anything.